have you all up on screen. Let's let Clu and Oxirador know they can go. Oxirador. I'm
So
gonna murder this name all day. I'm sorry, Oxirador.
I just like to me he's what's that guy's name? Billy Blank, like the OxyClean guy.
That's right.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I hope that's not offensive to anyone, but
No.
that's just like what I thought of immediately.
Nick's saying good luck to competitors. Nick, welcome to the chat channel. Thanks for joining us today. We are so happy to have you here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Conley is in chat here with us, designer and developer of Ashes Reborn.
This would not be going on without him.
Not at all. Not at all. All right. So Clu is Jared Clu is he's a writer for the Shuffle Bus. He has done some writing work for us. Put some great competitive articles out talking about the math behind this game, and I think it helps a lot of people understand. One of his most recent one was having to do with the owl, and of course, rotations was another conversation you and Clu had recently.
Yeah, I found that article very difficult to write. Though it was an interesting exercise anyway, like trying to play devil's advocate to each other.
Sure.
But so when I sat down at this table here, I immediately noticed the six divine 4 illusions, and he rolled 6 basics and 4 illusion class. That's very funny.
That's very rough. Well, yeah. So Sembali is a Phoenixborn that's been very interesting because she generally doesn't get a great rap in the competitive scene, but we have seen her be very successful in these in these kind of run what you brung tournaments like Ashcon, where you can't kind of pre-prep or have much knowledge of what your opponent is playing.
Her ability is very powerful, right? Like, and the role is really funny, right? Like, but in general, unless something really weird is going on here, I wouldn't say that a matchup between Echo and Sembali is going to go to decking. So I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
But Sembali in general, like what you're saying, is her power level is incredibly high.
Mm-hmm.
She gives you like the free unblockable second swing, so you can invest in something large and potentially like double invest in it through alterations or something, and then get the second use out of it with the wings ability. I'm not sure what we're looking at here with the divine illusion only, so I'm kind of excited, but there's definitely no we see a reimagine.
Yep. So this is a new card from the Hope set. This is a ready spell that says after you pay for a dice power using a turtle or a wolf die, so time power or illusion power, you may place that die in one exhaustion token on the spell if it has no dice on it. And then it has an inexhaustible effect that says you may use the die on that spell to pay for any reactions played as an inexhaustible. So kind of a neat way to sort of bank an extra die and sort of cheat in a way 11 dice in your first 5 here.
And on the other side, we have a shifting mist.
Shifting mist, yep. Well, shifting mist is certainly going to help with that 6 basic divine roll here.
I suppose that's true.
So, and also looks pretty good if your opponent's on roll down like Reimagine here, because
Reimagine, the card that I was most. Oh, and he doesn't have the time dice either, so it's only for wolf dice.
Yep.
The Reimagine, the card that I was most excited for when the set came out, and then realized I read it wrong and that it's not actually dice recursion. So
chat having a heyday with this here. Schmendrix, what is up, dude? Welcome to the stream. Inquisitor saying, well, that shifting mist help takes the sting off that Reimagine. Kyla saying, cool kids don't play ready books. That's maybe true here, Kyla. We may not see a ready book from the Sembali at all, especially with that Gift of Wings ability on her Phoenixborn power.
Right. It has to target an ally, so I assume that she has an ally in her tank here. And a Mindfog Owl. All right.
And so we see the Reimagine used as a wolf die to roll down 2 illusion class dice, and in doing so take those back to basics and put that wolf die back on the Reimagine. That gives you some options when you're the Echo player. It could be Figures in the Fog. It could be Fate Reflection. I mean, there's a variety of different things here that this could be.
You're trying to name all the reactions. Don't forget Vanish.
It could be Vanish.
I also believe Strange Copy is an option.
Strange Copy would be an option as well. You'd also have possibly Ensnare if you're being very aggressive in this play.
Yeah.
I do like the potential Ensnare play here.
What do we see? Okay, so he has a figures in his discard pile, so he's playing figures. What's the other one? Shadow Strike?
Shadow Strike would be another opportunity card here.
Celestial Knight in the discard pile. I would bet there's a Celestial Knight in his hand.
It seems very likely that will be the case here. You want to try to maximize value out of these knights, and armored knights are pretty good against the ping damage effects.
It's the only knight in the color, so I assume that is the one that is it.
We see a Crystal Armor go by for another med here, and we also see a Summon Spectral Assassin go by.
Actually, it could be what's the untargetable one? The only divine one.
Holy Knight? Could be a Holy
Knight. Yeah, it could be Holy Knight too.
You could definitely set up a Voltron Holy Knight in Sembali pretty easily, especially with this dice spread.
Yeah, you miss out on like some of the cool ones, but you have like, obviously he already hit a Crystal Armor. You also have Holy Relics.
All right, so we see Oxirador has not taken his main action yet. He is still in the tank on this main action.
Yeah, doing a lot of meditating, obviously, because of the roll and the
reimagined wolf play. Yep. We'll see how this using that wolf die proactively in this first 5. It puts you down a dice. You're playing 9 dice in round 1, but kind of not really because you still have this.
You're only playing 9 dice if you don't spend the reimagine.
Right. That's right.
So you put yourself in a situation where you're playing 10 dice, but one of them is really telegraphed.
Right. But it's also non-interactable. Like an opponent can't take that away from you, which is something that can happen in other games, which makes for an interesting case for Reimagine.
Yeah, the issue that I have with Reimagine is it took up a card in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And while it didn't cost a dice, it can potentially cost a dice. Like if he doesn't use this reaction, I think he probably will, because well, I don't know. I guess like figures is like the best case for always hitting in round 1.
Mm-hmm. I do think Inquisitor has hit the nail on the head. I think Reimagine makes for a very safe Fate Reflection. Although I'm not sure against this dice spread whether Fate Reflection looks all.
Fate Reflection looks pretty bad against this dice, but right. Okay. So this is a Celestial Knight. It has Meteor, it has Ensnare, it has Shadow Strike. Those are like the things, but you
can't put the Golden Veil dice on the Reimagine Warrior.
Yeah, it has to be Time or Illusion.
Time or Illusion. Yep. Sorry. That would be incredible if you could do that with Reimagine.
It would be okay. It would definitely make it better. My issue with Reimagine is that I think you need to get a dice worth out of the power that you use. And I'm not sure that Wolf dice is worth a power unless you're like actually gonna like stop a GV.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will say Reimagine, like there are certain cases where turtle power is very close to the value of a dice.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you put a status counter on anything that has power level equal to the status counter.
But you can't spend it for that. It has to be spent for reactions. Off the Reimagine.
Well, I'm saying if you have a Reimagine in play,
just to
you like pump your snake, you put your turtle on the Reimagine. That's like a way that I think you get very close to a dice's value.
Makes sense. So we do see Clu put a Mindfog Owl into play, and then he meditates Figures in the Fog, Hidden Power, and Keepsake.
Keepsake, another combo with the Wolf dice.
Right. Yep. Keepsake looks very good at hunting these big knights that Sembali could potentially put out here. Be curious to see.
It does kill Celestial Knight, I suppose, if you get it charged all the way up.
Yep. I wonder if we'll see a potential Especially with Keepsake in the deck, I wonder if we'll see a potential Dreamlock Mage in this deck.
I would think so. I mean, so at the beginning I said that this probably won't go to decking, but Clue is obviously playing some kind of spin down deck.
Right.
So maybe it will come to that.
Sembali looking pretty happy to see this Lightbringer come down with only a single Mindfog Owl on the Echo side right now. Seems like a pretty good place to be. 2 cards in hand still for Sembali, 3 cards in hand for the Echo player.
So Meteor does go by. Meteors in the deck makes the Fate Reflections a lot more interesting.
They do, yep. And I would assume a 6-class die there is a Meteor in there somewhere. and
obviously
armored,
it's a combo with Celestial Knight as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say the armored Celestial Knight loves to be played alongside that Meteor because it only takes 1 damage in that entire exchange.
Or none if you just play it for 2.
Correct. That's true too.
Yeah, Inquisitor says, I like Wolf to turn down class to basic more than power to class unless you need to put them off a key reaction. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
And then we see Clue drop an Essence Druid to immediately suck back up that Keepsake, so trying to turn on that combo piece here. Nice way to not have to start the Keepsake in hand.
Yeah, Essence Druid obviously just a great card.
It does look like it might be mighty hard for the Sembali player if they're on Meteor to be able to play Meteors this game with all this potential Wolf spin down.
That's an interesting thing. Yeah, the Meteor being very difficult to play through a bunch of spin down, but we don't see him on any like real hard spin down yet, right? I mean, presumably the Imagine is only spin down because he only has illusion dice that hit it.
Right.
But he's in the colors for I can't think of what it is now. What's the sympathy, 1 sympathy class and rolls 1 of yours and 1 of theirs?
Magic Siphon?
Yeah, he's in the colors for Magic Siphon.
Yep. Although 3 spellbook, once you put that Keepsake down, he's out of room on his spellboard with Echo to go beyond the 3 spellboard.
Right. I guess like assuming that you're going to play a reactionary turn, Reimagine is better than Magic Siphon because it hits your opponent twice. I mean, you don't get the benefit of raising yours, but...
So here comes a Lightbringer from Oxirador. This will probably bait that Mindfog Owl to attack.
I would guess that this is going to be a Mindfog attack. The Essence Druid is one of the ways that holds down Celestial Knight very nicely without like playing into its ability very hard. Okay, so he gravities the Lightbringer and attacks.
Yep.
He says, I'm okay sacking my 2/2 to tapping your Celestial Knight.
We get a surprise Shadow Guard. I don't know if we'll see the Shadow Guard counter here into this Mindfog Owl or if the Shadow Guard will just turn into...
Can you play Shadow Guard off of Reimagine?
It's a reaction, yeah, I think you could.
You may use this dice to pay the cost of reactions. I don't know that this counts. I feel like it doesn't.
It is a reaction, I think, when it's in blue text. Where's Nick when we need him?
But it doesn't like the reaction spells say reaction spell on them. This is an ally. I think it probably doesn't work. So, but I do love me a Shadow Guard.
Clue getting in for that first couple points of damage here on the Sembali. This is really putting Echo in a tight spot. We do see a wide swing here from the Shadow Guard. Celestial Knight.
I mean, the block on Shadow Guard is really free here. Like, I guess maybe he has Meteor and then it's not as free.
Yeah, Nick says you can play the Shadow Guard if paying for it at reaction speed.
Interesting.
That seems pretty good. Not bad.
Well, now we know the best thing to do is just play Swifties off your Reimagines.
Yeah, for sure.
But so he's sending the squad, and Clue snap blocks the Shadow Guard. I think this is good. The only thing this is playing into is Meteor, because the Shadow Guard will do a damage to the druid.
I'm assuming with 3 dice left and 3 cards, it's really hard to know what this open looks like for Clue here. But Echo is taking some damage here. Going to take 4 here from the Lightbringer and the Celestial
So,
Knight.
if he has the Fate Reflection that we were talking about, the meteor then becomes like just
Destroy said
a blank.
Celestial Knight.
No, it'll never kill the Celestial Knight. It'll
Well, yeah, so Celestial Knight would take no,
1 and then
right.
1,
and then 1.
assuming he did it for 3.
If we see no 2 shadows play on the Celestial Knight, we do see Gift of Wings from Sembali turn on. That would be a pretty monster start here, and that threat of that meteor may be enough here to throw Clue off. So there's the 2 shadows, crush out that Celestial Knight here. Echo going down to 15 life. So,
and there's the Keepsake.
Yep.
So
this last card is going to be a Battle Seer.
Right. I was going to say, I bet this is a Battle Seer, a 3 dice with those colors. That's not a SS Druid.
The Battle Seer looks pretty good if this last card is a Meteor. I do like... Oh, it's a Gravity Train. Oh, wow. Okay, so Gravity Train here.
That is not ideal for the Sembali.
No, this is going to be a rough start for Sembali if the Echo player sticks a Battle Seer SS Drew Mindfog out around 1.
Gravity Training actually pretty good against Echo, I think, in general.
I agree.
But the Gravity Training and the Shifting Mist in the first 5 makes for a very weak first 5. You know, he had a Lightbringer as a semi-threat, and then a Shadow Guard and a Celestial Knight.
This is a beefed up Lightbringer now, taking that enhanced strength on the
the old enhanced strength Peacock, and there's the Battle Seer. Yep. So Battle Seer probably just means 3 to Sembali.
Interestingly enough, this Reimagine used that proactively, didn't actually trigger for anything in this first round.
Yeah, he didn't even start a reaction.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know if I mean, you can set up the Reimagine and then use that die for just about anything later for value, and then still have it set up. And especially if you're trying to get that Keepsake online, you could have got the Keepsake maybe online and still have.
Well, he didn't start the Keepsake. The Keepsake was just what he got off the Druid.
Right.
So maybe he's not counting on Keepsake as a Druid thing. It could have been something else, but.
So now if you're Clue.
Yep, he tried to wings his Lightbringer, which you cannot do because it targets allies only.
Correct. Gift of Wings is only able to target those allies, so losing the Celestial Knight and losing the Shadow Guard were both potential wings targets. Probably should have made the decision, if you knew your last card was Gravity Training, to immediately untap that Celestial Knight after the attack. You know, they're going to try to fix the game state here, which we appreciate the sportsmanship.
I think it will make no difference because those were both divine dice he spent on it, and he doesn't have anything to do with his divine dice. So I don't think it's going to matter for the game state. But he's definitely going to take 3. I assume this Battle Seer will target the Lightbringer, but it will get carded by Sembali.
He may just... He may just go straight to face and not worry about that Lightbringer at all. Like, it doesn't represent a huge threat to him as long as he's got an Essence Druid in play.
Well, I think there's no reason not to kill it if you can.
Sure.
Like the Battle Seer is going to get through at some point in this game for sure. So, and it's, you know, it's very likely that he's going to guard anyway. You know, we may see him like side action divine onto this Lightbringer, but it doesn't actually matter because the Battle Seer has Quick Strike. So the power of the Peacock is inconsequential.
Yep. I agree that this, but this 2/2 is looking a little sad into Essence Druid Battle Seer. Battle Seer having alert means you really can't attack with it even when you're going first at the top of round 2.
He's just going to face. I disagree with this. I think you should make him guard. Like, if he doesn't guard for whatever reason, I think that's a much worse play because you're just you're ahead, so like you're already kind of ahead, but you'd be ahead by infinity, and now you're kind of like, well, my owl doesn't have any good attacks for a long time. I think you want to just keep the I think you want to keep the resource pressure up.
Well, if there's any way for Sembali to dig their way out of this hole, it would be a meteor here. That is one potential thing. With the single wolf die rolled off of the Reimagine, we're going to see Keepsake get powered up into enough of a power spell to kill the Lightbringer here. So you kind of have to make the decision to kind of go all in on this like shifting mist to prep your meteor and then try to get back out of it that way.
Yeah, I mean the meteor isn't even that good. You need like meteor plus something else. Like the meteor would be good, but
so Oxirador is playing down here, essentially 8 dice to his 2. So it's about a 6 dice differential between round 1 to round 2 in terms of value on the board, and that's really a hard number to come back from. Neil, to be quite frank, it's not very easy. But if you are holding a potential meteor at this point, which we don't know for sure, obviously, we don't know what Oxirator's meteor count is. We just saw a meteor go by. You kind of have to pressure this Battle Seer with your Lightbringer, knowing that the Keepsake is going to get triggered anyways by this Reimagine play.
I don't even think that he needs to Keepsake the Lightbringer. Like, I would just pump this Keepsake up to 4 to prepare for the last Celestial Knight.
Well, that's going to take two wolf powers to do that here.
Yeah, or something else. I mean, we don't know what it's in his deck.
Sure.
But the Lightbringer is doing like nothing right now. That's the
right.
I mean, it's stopping the owl from doing anything too. But
if you are considering Meteor as a play in this round somewhere, well, here's another Lightbringer. So we're going to just see another Peacock come into play here.
Yeah, I mean, he has a couple options now. He can. I think attacking with owl or attacking with Battle Seer is fine, or attacking with both is fine. I probably would just attack with one or the other.
So one of the things to note, if you're a newer player to Ashes and you face off against these kind of spin down style decks, it's really in your best interest to not meditate until you're ready to use the dice immediately. So we did see Oxirador bring that Figures in the Fog out and meditate up to a wolf die, but that was to get ready for another Shadow Guard play here. Shadow Guard also not looking super strong against these Battleseer Essence Druids unless you've got some sort of plan for it.
Yeah, the Essence Druid makes the Shadow Guards feel pretty bad.
If I'm thinking, see, I think you take this Mindfog Owl attack, you let the Shadow Guard attack into the Mindfog Owl, and then you get to untap your Shadow Guard. And then if your opponent wants to attack directly to the Shadow Guard with the Battle Seer, you can take the Unit Guard, and now you can kind of manage that Battle Seer with the Shadow Guard, and the Shadow Guard potentially gets 6 value for 4 dice, which is pretty good. But we don't see that happen. We just see the gravity trained Lightbringer defend that Mindfog Owl attack, and immediately they both die because they're 2/2s. They're both 2/2s at that point. So it's an interesting position to be in.
I mean, I think that because Clu is ahead by so many awesome guys that he's fine just making that trade.
Sure.
I don't know. Is this a main thing? Okay, so Keepsake is a main action, so you can actually like Wolf Power then Keepsake.
Right.
It's kind of interesting.
Yep. So these two ready spells work side by side with each other as both a spin down and a potential removal. So we see a second gravity training. Going big. Going for that Voltron.
It's gonna be tough into the.
We see second Mindfog Owl come down.
That's a beating. I mean, like the focus is not really a beating. Like it's fine to do, but just in general, him having two on the just in play 2/2s all the time is probably bad for a Sembali player here.
Again, I think depends on what the remaining 3 cards are for the Sembali player here, but the fact that you're going to stare down 2 Mindfog Owls here that are going to power down your board, combined with the reimagined keepsake, like you're in a pretty tough spot to stick any of the big knights at this point. This Echo deck looking like it's very good at hunting knights.
And the Shadow Guard makes me believe that he's not going to Meteor this turn.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you'd put a Shadow Guard in play before Meteoring.
Right. I would agree with that.
So here comes the Shadow Guard attack. Looks that way anyway.
Maybe I DC'd.
You did DC.
Well, I just did there for sure. There we go.
Yep.
Now
Shadow Guard comes in. Now, see, now I believe he does have the Meteor because I think this attack is very strange otherwise.
So it's setting up the Essence Druid. So we just see Clu just take the 3.
Which is correct if you put your opponent on Meteor. You don't want Meteor to kill either of your guys.
So if I'm Oxirador, he has the side action left. You could Gravity Train this Shadow Guard and then untap it on the next turn to hunt something.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. You have to. Unfortunately, this is the time when the Keepsake looked good,
right?
Because the Keepsake for 2 is good. Yeah, I don't. With the Keepsake in play, I think that
we're seeing that Mindfog Owl come down here instead.
I think he just did. I don't know that he did Mindfog Owl. Is this how Ashteki resolves this? I think he just like did the snake power.
I think you would mind. I would think it'd be better to mind fog there, wouldn't it? Make a unit and do that.
It depends on how hard he's trying to play around Meteor.
Sure, that's true.
That's the thing. I think that at this point I would have keepsaked it, and just killed that Shadow Guard. Because the thing about Sembali decks, and we kind of talked about this on stream sometime last week or the week before, is like the thing about Sembali decks and Diamona decks that like require you to have a tapped ally. If you just kill all the allies, then they end up stranding dice like 80% of the time.
So Echo's got 12 life remaining, and Sembali has 14 life remaining at this particular juncture. But the Echo player is still up on board with 6 dice worth of units on the board versus the roughly 4 dice worth of units on the board with the Shadow Guard and Lightbringer. So Return to Soil crushing out this Lightbringer. Going to purge out something here. I don't know what we'll see. Purged out the 2 Celestial Knights. That takes away Shepherd of Lost Soul plays. That's a really good looking Return to Soil here.
Yeah, that was good. Return to Soil as a card I think is great. Just in general, we were kind of talking about like the power level of Charm last week too, and this was a card that didn't come up, but I think it's very good. Though along the same lines as all of that discussion, it is just a support card. Like all the Charm cards are support cards.
Yep.
All
right.
But I do think it's very, very good.
Coming back to Oxirador here, I think at this point, because your opponent didn't actually like pressure your Shadow Guard here, you could just make another Gravity Training on this Shadow Guard. You could just stay on plan and just go all in on this Voltron Shadow Guard. And, just take your main action, Gravity Train the Shadow Guard, and then if you really wanted to, you can untap it now, but you can just untap it.
So there's an argument for both sides of doing the wings this turn or next turn.
Right.
Because
there's a fade away for the Battleseer.
Okay, that's good. The wings this turn protects it from 2 shadows. But the wings next turn means that it gets to kill the Battleseer, though I would definitely wings it now because the Battleseer is going to die. It still can't kill the Essence Druid, even if you wings it. So I would wings it now.
See, I think this is the mistake. You had a line to potentially beat this Battleseer just with this Shadow Guard, so you should have fade away you should have put a fade away on the Essence Druid. It represents the biggest trouble for your board to get around.
Well, I don't know that I want to trade my giant Shadow Guard for my opponent's Battleseer is the only thing. I think this fadeaway is fine here. But
so Clu
he meditated away the Reimagine.
Doesn't care about that. It makes me think he's it makes me think he's got another Essence Druid here.
So this Reimagine was literally just a first 4.
Yep. So he uses Captivate to destroy the Shadow Guard. Had to make room.
Oh, okay. So here's another reason why you should have winged it on the other time. Though Captivate is not a card we see very often. It is something to think about. when deciding on when to wings.
Yep. Captivate getting that Shadow Guard because of the power die from the just the spend on the charm power there, getting through to destroy. Now Captivate also has a nice ongoing effect here for this match where it can prevent a unit from attacking the next turn. So it sort of it sort of gives you this weird, like, I don't know, quasi, like, do something else turn if you can, or force a main action pass into double pass, move the round along kind of deal.
The ability on Captivate, like, obviously the power ability on Captivate is when it comes to play kill a tapped guy, right? That's with a charm power on it. And that's, like, I think the best side of this card. But the other side of this card is very creative. You can do a lot of interesting things with it. You can, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is you can, like, light bring your opponent's side action Captivate, and you really get to pick, like, their bad attack.
Mm-hmm.
It stops, like, Gilder from being the easy light bringer, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, it also, like, can potentially cause a pass when normally there would not be one.
Right.
It's, I don't know, because it's never in play. Like, we haven't seen a lot of this card in play. It doesn't, there's a lot of things about it that we haven't seen yet. So we actually see Clu still wolf something after having pitched the Reimagined, though obviously he needed to pitch something to play the Captivate.
Yeah, so he's got the Keepsake turned on for any kind of threat that's a little bit more sizable.
Does this require you to actually have changed it? After one or more dice in an opponent's active pool are re-rolled, lowered in level, or changed to a side of your choice, place a status token.
I'm just seeing an all-out attack here.
If you try to, like, let's say you use Wolf Power on basic here, does Keepsake trigger?
Don't know. So we do see an all-out attack from Clu here, committing all 3 units, Battleseer, Mindfog Owl, and Essence Druid, although we did see a Figures in the Fog come out from the Sembali player from Oxirador to turn off the Battleseer attack. This is essentially a 2 dice removal, take no damage, but he does still suffer 4 damage in total from the Mind Fog and the Essence Druid. Now the real question is, does he have a follow-up play here with his 4 Divine Dice remaining that allows him to get this Essence Druid and kill it? And that's a real question.
It has to be like Holy Knight is, like, the only thing it could be that would do anything, I think.
Could be a Light Swordsman.
It could be Meteor. Swordsman. Meteor would still be really good.
Yeah, Meteor looking less good with the Recover 2 on that particular unit, but we do see the second Mindfog Owl come into play from the Echo player, getting another 2 damage. Oxirador down to 8 life remaining, so Sembali is quickly dwindling away here.
Yeah, and I mean he's lethal because unless he does something, he's lethal.
And there is a pass from both players, so we're going round 3 with Clu up massively on board here. Total of 7.
Oh, he's not lethal. There was a fadeaway. Never mind. He's not actually dead.
No. But there are 7 dice
just
that are
close to dead,
nearly dead. Right? That's the reference we're going to use here. Nearly dead.
So does he crack for 6? Okay, he's just going to come in for 6.
Interestingly enough, the Mindfog Owls are tapped out here. There's no more Mindfog Owls in the bin, so you can't make another Mindfog Owl. I don't know if I agree with this attack here. If it's not lethal, you can sort of.
It depends on if he has Sympathy Pain in his deck or not.
Sure. So there we see another crack, taking the Sembali player to 2. Oxirador is on his back heel here. 2 life remaining for Sembali. No units in play, but we do have an exhausted out board from Echo. It's going to depend a lot on what those units in hand are.
Yeah, Kyla, you definitely have to attack. Like, he didn't have the Meteor last turn. Did he discard?
Don't know. Rodney Smith has joined as a spectator. I don't know if that's the Rodney Smith from Watch It Play or not, but if Rodney is watching the stream, welcome, Rodney. Appreciate you being here. Otherwise, why aren't you watching the stream, dude? Yeah, Chaos Gravity can't set up a lethal swing here as well. Inquisitor says that's a good point. But I think if you're the Sembali player and you're trying to stay out of this thing, you definitely got to Meteor this board out. But that means that 2 Mindfog Owls just come on the back heels of that. So it's kind of a bad.
Yeah, he can't kill the Mind Fogs. That's
I think if you're really outplaying this or trying to outplay this, then the best thing you can do here is let him play his Chaos Gravity, and then then meteor the board, because then you're forcing more main action time. So keepsake.
Yeah,
here,
with these guys tapped, you shouldn't do anything to his guys. You should just leave them and try.
So-
and I guess you got to try to get in 12 this turn.
Well, see, what's going to happen is keepsake's going to get turned on here. And it's going to be because you're going to wolf dice something down, turn on keepsake, shoot the Celestial Knight as your main action.
Yeah.
So you just gave them a 1 die.
He could have
2 die removal.
Angelic Rescue. He could have Shield.
Angelic Rescue or Particle Shield here would be really, really good in this scenario.
Assuming that we're seeing the keepsake play, but I think that that's pretty. Like, how would you not do that?
Right.
I would be so excited to activate my keepsake if I tried to play that card. Like, I don't think that it card ever really does what you want, but now is the time. Now is keepsake's time when you're way ahead and your opponent's a 2. Finish off that guy they played.
Yeah, might as well.
Oh, he's gonna captivate it, I think.
Well, Captivate can't kill unless you put another Captivate in play, right? So you'd have to play a second Captivate book here.
Right.
And
he can't do it yet.
Has to be exhausted.
But he has to wait until next turn so he can Gravity Flux it and then captivate it.
Yeah, interesting. I think if you're Oxirador, you got to take as much as you can from this Celestial Knight, which would mean probably attacking with the Knight and Gift of Wings to take away the Captivate play and the 2 Shadows play. And then,
unfortunately, he has the Gravity Flux Captivate. But I do think that you're right that you should Wings it after attacking. Like, make him use his things. Oh. Well, I mean, this is fine, I guess.
get in for 4 here. Going for those coveted blood points on your tiebreaker. Smendrick says the Captivate, the slowest, most telegraphed removal. It's captivating.
Yep.
So Echo takes 4 here, taking Echo down to 8 life remaining.
And he can't Wings it now that he played Light Swordsman, but he got in his damage or whatever.
So currently looking at this most likely as a...
Oh, we're getting the keepsake play.
Yep, we are. If this is a Particle Shield or Angelic Rescue, this is going to be a bomb.
But it doesn't actually matter, right? Like, because the thing's tapped already. I guess he can Wings it.
Right,
because it still doesn't kill him.
He can Gravity Train, Wings it, and then he's going to get back in for another 3 and close that life gap down to 5. Not that it matters, but it is something.
Well, I guess if Clu has no actual threats, like if these owls are just like in play and stuck, he has to have a Chaos Gravity, right? There's only 1 in his discard pile.
So he meds the keepsake away. Oh, he did get the keepsake off.
He fired it off.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. Keepsake destroys itself.
He chose to Snake Dice it, and then chose to Keepsake it. That feels a little weird to me.
Just saving himself 1 point of life there. We'll see if we know that was the last Celestial Knight from Oxirador, so we'll see if he's got a Shepherd of Lost Souls here to bring back that Celestial Knight.
Yeah, I don't know what his hand, honestly, like Gravity Training plus Wings on Light Swordsman is okay.
I agree. Another 3 damage. You're at there's the Shepherd, okay. So we are getting that Celestial Knight back.
This is fine too.
Going to continue to pressure that with that keepsake gone. It's a little bit more likely to stick this Knight.
Yeah, German, I agree. That's why I think it was weird. German says you could have saved 3 points of life by just keepsaking it immediately rather than like snaking it and doing nothing.
Chain of Violence is going to shoot the Shepherd and mill a card.
I would shoot Swordsman, I think.
Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. Nope, he shoots the Shepherd. Okay. The Shepherd represents a threat, I guess.
It's like this, like that's an untapped unit this turn, I guess, is the difference.
If you Gravity Train this Swordsman and untap it, you can't play the Celestial Knight this round.
Yeah, he's not going to do that now. He's going to play Celestial Knight.
Yeah. But if he plays the Celestial Knight, I guess he's still got a Gift of Wings play there at that point.
Yeah, or Lightbringer.
Well, Gift of Wings represents more damage. You can produce 6 damage into this board, potentially.
At this juncture, I would be operating under the assumption that the Echo can't kill me
Right.
if I was Oxirador. So I would be trying to build the biggest board for the top of round swing, I think. Though he's at 1 million blockers. I don't know how he's gonna.
With 4 blockers in play, that you're gonna have to get in now, or you're gonna probably not get in.
But it's just that's also another reason why you need to get as many guys in play as possible so that you can like not die.
Sure.
Because
those mind fogs are
the mind fogs
for
make the violinist lethal. Like under normal circumstances, you just wouldn't care about the violinist because the difference between 17 and 18 is almost nothing. But because it makes it so you can't block Owl, then it's lethal.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really,
especially against Echo, you have to have bodies in play because Gravity Flex also removes a blocker.
Right. I think you're gonna have to get rid of this violinist somehow, some way, and then you're gonna have to use your Celestial Knight to clean up the board, and that's a tricky proposition with one.
Well, now he made the Lightbringer, so he's not going to get a. There will be no unit deaths due to PB guard, unless he has like non-Celestial Knight units.
So I think this really does firmly put Clu in the driver's seat to win this game, even in his first action of the next round, because the Mindfog Owls, you can Gravity Flux a unit, or you can enchant a Violinist one of these life.
Yeah, he can attack Violinist with Peacock. It'll get guarded probably. And
well,
then,
we did see one of the things.
He'll just let it happen.
One of the things that he could have in his arsenal here is a Summon Spectral Assassin to bring back the Light Swordsman.
That'd be cool.
And then he would get in for 5, taking him up to 16. And that
I think you have to attack units.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go to face. I think you have to attack units. That would actually be really good if he had the Spectral Assassin. I saw one in the discard pile. Does he think he has more than one?
Well, that would be the only thing I could sort of piece together as a potential play line here, because the Celestial Knight doesn't look particularly strong into this.
Because you could do like this turn, attack Violinist with Lightbringer, get the guard, or the Enchanted Violinist. Either way, you're fine. Then make your assassin attack one of the owls. And if he didn't guard the violinist, then you get guarded. If he did guard the violinist, then you get the owl.
Yeah, so you can't attack the owls because he's got the ability.
Oh, right. You can't attack owls this turn. Never mind.
You can't touch the owls. You're gonna have to make 2 units.
So you have to kill.
You have to kill EV and somehow kill the druid here.
And keep 3 guys in play because you can't get gravity fluxed either.
Right.
But
well, to be fair, if it's just 2 owls in play, they can be blocked. Unseen does not protect them from each other. So
we
see a Return to Soil kills the Light Swordsman.
Oh, okay.
Celestial Knight and Shadow Guard removed from the game. When did that other 3rd Celestial Knight get back in there? I thought he pulled that back with a Shepherd. Oh, he moved Shadow Guard. He moved Shadow Guard to his hand. Interesting.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense because that gives you the wings play still. Like you couldn't make Lightbringer and Celestial Knight and wings, but you can make Lightbringer, Shadow Guard, and wings.
Right. Yeah, it's Clu prepping that last ceremonial or that last charm power. Last charm power now to be able to potentially make that last Mindfog Owl if given that opportunity, or use that charm dice to turn down the Shadow Guard in terms of overall power. I think you're still going to have to just be on plan to take care of Enchanted Violinist and, try your best to get some value on this Essence Druid. So if I'm Oxirador and I'm trying to do my best to make this happen, then you've got to use the Lightbringer into Enchanted Violinist now.
Inquisitor, that's a play you can do. It's that means you're playing 6v10 in dice against your opponent, but at least you clear the board.
But But based on what we've seen come out of Clu's hand this round, it's very possible Clu wouldn't have another threat besides 2 Mind Fogs next round if that's true. And that might be enough of a advantage to save your last 2 life and get back in this game and flip the script.
Yeah, it's definitely a play that you would make if you had to make. It puts you at a big disadvantage, right? Like when you both refresh to 10 and then you're forced to spend 4 to your opponent's nothing.
So here's the Lightbringer eating the Enchanted Violinist. That's a good
And he
start.
chooses not to guard, okay?
Yeah. I think he can't guard there because of the risk of making Shadow Guard and the Gift of Wings killing the Essence Druid. So, because if you guard there, then you get to use your Shadow Guard to punch out this Essence Druid. It is 4 dice for a 3 dice removal. That's
unfortunately, I think. If he just cracks face twice with Shadow Guard,
it'll be 4/4 because of the charm power.
Right. Okay, so it doesn't actually come close to killing him, and you can't make Mind Fogs, so
you can't Charm die if you Divine. No, there can be a Divine and Charm on the same card. You just can't have more than one of each dice type on the card. They would cancel each other.
So he's Gravity Training, which means no wings.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the Gravity Training on this Lightbringer. I guess he wants to just avoid the Return to Soil play, maybe? He's got
I don't think that. I mean, I guess that.
He's got 1 Purge Shadow Guard. No other Shadow Guards in the discard pile right now. So.
I mean, it does protect his Lightbringer, which is a body in play against the.
So there's the
Chaos here's Gravity. A Chaos Gravity. Does this kill him? Yeah, I think this kills him.
Yeah, because he just gets in for 2 on the back of this. The Shadow Guard will block it, but the Shadow Guard dies in that exchange then.
Well, he needs to have a thing he can play on 1 illusion dice and then Shadow Guard the attack.
You need a figures. You need a figures and a Shadow Guard.
Oh, that figures would do it too, yeah.
So if he plays a Shadow Guard here into figures, he would get there. So,
but he can't block the so he'd have to figures the owl and just sack his Shadow Guard to Essence Druid. Because if he blocks the owl, then the next owl kills him.
Right, but the next owl,
that feels pretty bad.
It's true.
So he has outs, but I think it's looking not good with the old.
I certainly think that's a possibility, Carl. Maybe he was worried about the Chaos Gravity and a Meteor play. It's very possible that if you make that Chaos Gravity too early, you get Meteored. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, I think the Chaos Gravity probably should have been earlier because if he gets Meteored, he, like, as we've been talking about this whole turn, he still kind of wins because he gets to make more owls.
Right.
Okay, so now because he spent that dice. Oh wait, what happened here?
He lowered the wolf so he couldn't he lowered the doubt so he couldn't make the Shadow Guard with the wolf die. Wolf die spinning down to Oxirador.
Right, but what did Oxirador do?
He passed
on his. Oh, okay. So he was dead anyway. He didn't have the unit to make alongside the Shadow Guard.
Right. Yep.
So it wouldn't have mattered if he wolfed them or not, because he could just attack with both.
Yep. So congratulations to Clu picking up his victory against Oxirador. He's able to get a win for Echo here on the back of a very, very different kind of Ashes deck, and very interesting to see it play out that way. Lots of big threats in the first round, and then we didn't see anything really kind of follow up after that. We just saw a lot of control coming from there. So control in the form of Captivate and control in the form of...
You see, they were joking about the, like, don't play books that make units. Like, this is when both decks are on 1 or fewer summon books, the battlefield becomes a very, like, inconsistent looking area.
Right.
Because you just run out of guys to play. But it was very different. We saw a lot of cards that you don't normally see, and congrats to Glue. Thanks to Oxirador for being on stream.
11 points picked up for Oxirador on this victory for the or loss on the blood points. So that may be that's a pretty high number. Pretty good way to break ties if you end up in that if everybody ends up sort of 1-1-1 or whatever. And obviously it's not going to happen completely, but just to kind of know where each position plays out in your pod of a four person pod.